Okay, I'm going to visit my little friend, the long-headed biceps, and I absolutely love this trigger point here. It's not necessarily in any of the Travell and Simmons trigger point guide or whatever the case may be. It's one of those sort of pseudo trigger points, but obviously it's pretty damn important when we're treating frozen shoulder. But it's not just about treating the frozen shoulder component. Definitely a lot of rotator cuff dysfunction and a lot of impingement syndromes. You'll find that this long-headed biceps trigger point develops. And I say long-headed biceps because it probably best represents the area where this trigger point develops. It's almost like a bit of a an indicator of how irritable the shoulder can be sometimes. So if I've got a nasty rotator cuff dysfunction, usually you'll find that this long-headed biceps trigger point through here will be really hot and nasty. So obviously we're close to the subscap attachment as well. We've got supraspinatus out here. We've obviously got the anterior deltoid fibers as well. So there's a couple of soft tissues in there that are pretty important, but really in terms of the area that we're aiming for, it's going to be right over that long-headed biceps. And long-headed biceps is usually indicated a lot, especially on ultrasound imaging, of having a little pool of swelling or edema around the sheath of the tendon. So it gives us a bit of an indication that there's some ongoing chronic inflammation that may house in that area. But nonetheless, it is an absolute game changer, this trigger point. Now, the way that I do this, it's once again, I'm not engaging this or working through it tissue-wise, although I do, but not in this instance. So the best way that I go about this is I'm going to basically lay my forearm over your client's forearm as well. So I'll hold them here. Okay, so if you find the pec major, okay, tendon attachment, you roll off there, you'll have subscapularis. If you roll off there, then you're going to be right into that area that we're going to engage. Come down about 2-3 finger widths. Okay, so we're just going to just rest onto that area there. So just let your clients get used to that pressure first. It's really important. Make sure that their arms relaxed as well. It's supported up here. And then we just slowly engage the tissue. So just put a little bit of pressure in there, hold that, just wait for them to get used to it. Now what you may need to do here is you may need to slide down a little bit inferiorly. You might need to go superiorly, you might need to go lateral, or you might need to go medial. So you'll know when you hit that spot because your clients will obviously let you know. Okay, it's quite specific. If you're feeling any burning, or if you think potentially you might be on a nerve, you need to move a little away. Okay, so obviously come a little bit lateral, but for the most part, just moving in and trying to find that sweet spot is what you're looking for. Once you're in that position, then you just basically hold it, sink down into it. If you start to feel your clients resisting against you, then you're going too hard. So it's really important that you back that pressure off. It's about them getting used to that pressure. And then once you find it, then you can just sort of work backwards and forwards, anteriorly. There we are, right on that spot there. No, sorry, not anteriorly, lateral or medially. Okay, so once you find that spot, then you're just going to hold it, sink in there, and just add a little bit of rotation as you work through there, okay? You don't want to be sitting there statically too long, and then you can work down a little bit further, pick up, same again. So just working there. So this should be tolerably comfortable, okay? If it's too much, then you're pressing too deeply. So you've got to make sure you find that medium whereabouts. So you only need to work this spot for at least a good 30 seconds. If they're really sensitive, then you might be there for about 30 seconds, just resting on them, getting used to the pressure, and then you slowly increase, okay? Make sure that they're breathing. If they start shallow breathing, you'll know that they're trying to contract if you feel them pushing against you. So there is a period there where you first start to feel a bit of resistance, then it should lessen some more, then you can sink in some more, and vice versa. To the point that you should be, by the end of it, able to put pretty much your whole body weight into that area, okay? So depending on how often you've treated your clients, it's really important that you just slowly sink in, work with them, make sure that the pressure's not too much, and then when you're finished, you slowly come out as you went in. Really important that you come out slow. Do not just jump off that trigger point. Really nasty. Once you've done that, then you can come back and then you can actually do some gliding techniques through the area, okay? So make sure that you're working inferiorly, not superiorly. I want you to work inferiorly and just, once again, engage the tissue and then work down through those fibers. So you'll probably pick up a little bit of the anterior deltoid, a bit of long head of biceps, and if you come out a little bit further, you'll hit that supraspinatus attachment. So you're working that whole anterior cuff area. Just nice, deep, slow, and purposeful, okay? So, rest arm on first, give it a good 20 seconds to get used to that pressure and feeling through there. Slowly sink in, make sure your clients are breathing, make sure that you're checking in on them, and then slowly let the pressure, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. If you're feeling them resist you, then you're going in too fast, too deep. So you just want to back it off a little bit, wait a little bit longer, keep going. And as I said, by the time you should reach that point where you've got your whole body weight through that anterior shoulder. And it is a game changer. It'll definitely decrease the irritability in and around that hyperirritable shoulder condition, whether it be impingement, whether it be a rotator cuff dysfunction, whatever the case, or even just an overload situation.